Hello, everyone. Today I'll be talking about another one of Patanjali's Niyamas. The Niyamas are attitudes and practices of the spiritual path that we want to encourage in ourselves to help us to grow and change. And today I'll talk about Tapasya, which means sacrifice. And it also means perseverance. There's a beautiful story of the Lord Shiva in Hindu mythology. And Shiva's wife was Sati. And when Sati passed away, Shiva was heartbroken, and he stormed around the world and then finally went into very deep meditation. Well, some many years later, Sati was reborn as Uma, a beautiful princess. But Uma cared nothing for the world. She wanted Shiva. And so she worshipped him night and day. And when she was old enough, she went into the forest by herself, dressed in bark, barefoot, and started practicing Tapasya. And she would do things like stand in water, cold water, up to her neck, meditating. She would stay up all night doing worship ceremonies. She would stand on one leg with one arm in the air for long periods of time. She did all these austerities. And why did she do these sacrifices? She was building spiritual power. And that's what we need to remember when we think of sacrifice. We don't want to make sacrifices. We don't want to thwart our energies. We want to express. We want to grow and change and get what we want through our own energy. The idea of sacrifice is just sort of abhorrent to many of us in our minds. But we have to remember this positive aspect of sacrifice. What do parents do? If they want to send their children to college, they make little sacrifices, or sometimes big sacrifices. They save money instead of going on vacation or buying a new house or that new car that they really want. Those are sacrifices for a greater need, a greater desire to have their children have a wonderful education so that they can have a better life. So that's an example of sacrifice. Now for Uma, just to finish the story of what happens to her, she was out in the forest, as I say, and walking, and she came across a sadhu with matted locks and covered with ash, and she knew she had to give something, some food or something to this sadhu. And as they talked a little bit, this sadhu said to her, this ascetic, a holy man, a wandering aspirant, much like she was, this sadhu said to her, "Why are you out in this forest? Who are you worshiping?" And Uma said, "I worship the Lord Shiva." And this sadhu started laughing, and he said, "That madman, What are you wasting your time on that fellow for? He's no good. He's just a bum. And he started going on and on. And Uma just, in her full spiritual power, said, not another word I will hear. Not another word against my Lord. And she turned to leave, and the sadhu held her hand back. And she looked back at the sadhu, and he transformed into her Lord Shiva. Through her austerities, through her sacrifices, she had gained the spiritual power to magnetically draw Shiva back to her. So when we think of tapasya and sacrifice, let us think more of the love that motivates it, not the denial, not the withholding of something that we want, but making a small sacrifice so that we can have the greater thing that we want, which is spiritual power and God realization. The more that we can control our impulses, for example, we might say that we want to follow Master's advice that we fast 1 day a week on juice. And maybe in the late afternoon on that day of fasting, we are really hungry and we're dreaming of pizza. But if we can tighten our belt, have some more juice, maybe go to bed early, maybe read something that is inspiring, that helps us steel our will, then we will gain by having completed what we set our minds out to do. Swami, in fact, was very adamant about always keeping his word. He said, even if I say, I'm going out for a newspaper tomorrow, and tomorrow I don't feel like going out for a newspaper, I will do it anyway, just because I said I would. When we speak the truth and do what we say we will do, if we act honorably in all circumstances, that builds spiritual power also. And it is a form of tapasya. So be strong in yourself. Don't be, as Sri Yukteswar said, don't let the frogs of senses kick you around. Be the master of your own destiny. Learn the power of tapasya. Persevere when others fall behind and give up. Be strong in yourself, and God will be with you.